All right, folks, well, we said we'd leave a couple minutes for your live questions. So if you're on Twitter, tweet to us at AMC Movie News. Crystal has been monitoring it. She's the one who picks what gets asked. So, Crystal, what are people asking in the Twitter stream?
Holy mackerel, I think I'm allergic to something in here today. All right, Ariel Noel wants to know, is there a chance to see Enchantress as a villain in Thor 3?
Well, as they're going into Thor 3, they're going to have to start digging a little bit deeper into their canon. She's a great character. I think there's a very good chance we'll see her.
Yeah, I would love for them to deal with the Surtur storyline and Beta Ray Bill, but you know they could squeeze Enchantress in there. I have my own druthers as far as what they do with the third Thor. I don't know if they'll do a fourth Thor or fifth Thor, but you know who's to tell.
Alicia?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know too much about Enchantress, but if it's female,
oh well, actually, if they bring in the Enchantress, they're going to have to bring in the Executioner because they usually come, you know, hand
well,
in
here's
hand.
I think. Didn't they use the Enchantress's sister in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so they're already kind of opened that door, so it
interesting.
makes sense that they could use her. All right, what's next?
John, you're going to like this one.
Okay.
David wants to know, do you think once GSP retires from MMA, he could become a bigger action star than his French counterpart, Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I don't know. I don't. The GSP, pound for pound, best fighter in the world. I think he would have beaten Anderson Silva if they fought in their heyday at a catch weight. I know a lot of people disagree with me. That's fine. GSP is awesome. He's stylish. He's smooth. Whatever. But he does struggle with English a lot. Now, so did Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Can GSP even look? If you're just going to go straight 80s action star-ish, then your acting ability becomes almost irrelevant, all right? Arnold, Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? Not the pinnacles on the Mount Rushmore of thespians of the ages. So you've got that going for you. But this isn't the 80s anymore. But could George be a great side villain, side character in these actioneer types of things like he was in Captain America, like he's probably going to be in the Bloodsport remake? He could totally make a very good career doing that moving forward. But an actual action star, it just ain't the 80s anymore. I don't know if you can get away without being a great actor, and he's not. So anyway, Alicia, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about MMA. I know it's surprising to look at me, but I think you're right that these days that wouldn't happen. I mean, Arnold is such an anomaly. Jean-Claude Van Damme, we love for his cheesy 80s action films and also the Expendables. But yeah, maybe he'd be in Expendables or something like that, but I'm not quite sure.
He would fit in great in something like that.
Right. I don't really know that much about MMA or GSP, MP.
Georges St-Pierre.
JCVD.
Yeah, RPG, MSG. I don't have anything for it. But yeah, I'd love to see. He was great in Captain America, so why not give him a few more lines, have him expand out into a villain? Is he the lead in Bloodsport?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he could keep growing as an actor, so.
All right, what's next?
Michael Sanders wants to know if you think we will get a Robocop versus Terminator crossover film.
No, I don't think we're ever going to see that. It's great to imagine and think about in your head and everything, but no, they're out of time with each other. I just don't. Nah.
Well, Frank Miller wrote a great comic book called Robocop versus Terminator. It was drawn by Walt Simonson. Buy that. That's what you're going to get. That's it.
Yeah.
I feel it's not going to happen.
Can't see it happening, but that would be kind of awesome.
All right, what's next?
Ian Carroll wants to know if you think that with the new Days of Future Past timeline, do you think it is possible to see Nightcrawler in Age of Apocalypse?
It's absolutely possible. They never got rid of Nightcrawler. Like Nightcrawler just is kind of like that cousin nobody likes in the family. Just kind of stopped showing up. Like they never explained where he went, whatever. All we know is that he's this big key important part of X-Men at the end of X-Men 2, then poof, just like his teleporter ability, he's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe he went back to seminary. Maybe he went back to finish his theological degree.
They break him out again.
Like I just don't know, but he just kind of disappeared. So yes, absolutely. Even if it wasn't for the new timeline, the door is completely there and open for him to come back anytime they want. It's just not going to be, coming. It's just not going to be, Alan doing it again. So what do you guys think?
Well, my favorite bit about the X-Men Days of Future Past, it was so clever the way that they wiped the slate clean.
Yeah.
Anything can happen now, and they can fix anything from the past they didn't quite explain.
All the continuity errors are
just like,
fixed.
Whatever, let's do it all. That was so clever. That blew my mind. So I think you could see any character back at any time.
Anybody could be there.
Yeah, and who's to say Alan Cummings wouldn't show up for like one scene? Mend those fences, so to speak. I'd love to see Nightcrawler bamf back into the X-Men.
I loved his accent in X-Men 2. I thought it sounded really good.
He was a great character.
Yeah, he was. All right, what's next?
Oh, sorry, didn't know we were going to another one. Terrence Fisher, are comic books movies headed towards being more story-oriented versus action-based like X-Men Days of Future Past and Captain America 2 were?
Well, the funny thing about that is that when you really sit back, this is the genius of Captain America 2. When you sit back and look at it, there is a lot of action in that film, and great. I contend the best fight choreography we've ever seen in a comic book film. I mean, those fights were
the parkour stuff, awesome.
And it's not just the GSP stuff, all the stuff with Winter Soldier and everything. Those combat scenes were incredible. The big set piece at the end with the helicarriers was terrific. And you have some great action in X-Men Days of Future Past 2. But yes, we are, as audiences, we are now demanding, rightfully so, more and more from these comic book films. Because now when they, look, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, 10 years ago, might have been received a lot better. But our standards have changed. We are now in a post-Dark Knight era. We're in a post-original X-Men era. We're in a post-Avengers era. Our expectations and our demands for the quality of these comic book films have gone up. And now with Captain America 2 and X-Men Days of Future Past, they're just getting pushed even more up. So now if you deliver a subpar comic book film without great witty dialogue and characters you care about and good stuff, you deliver a comic book movie without that stuff, it's going to be shunned, and rightfully so. The cream, in the words of Apocalypse, the weak will be culled and the strong will survive. And that's what we want in these superhero movies. We want the best to make better. You know what I mean? And we want the weak to fall off. And I think that's what's going to happen. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that it's getting more and more sophisticated. The audiences are starting to understand these characters more. And I like when a film like X-Men and Captain America 2, where it's done that both non-comic book fans and comic book fans can really enjoy. I mean, if you look at Days of Future Past, there must be a lot of stuff in there for comic book fans to piece together. But for me, not reading any of the comic books, I really enjoyed it on every level. And I think these days, audiences have seen so much action that it's getting harder and harder to impress you with action scenes, so they have to bring it with the story. I'm glad they are.
Sure.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest exciting moments for me of watching X-Men as an entire film is that it's really well put together from beginning to end. All the story elements and the characters, the story matters first. Magneto and Xavier's conversation argument on that plane is epic. It's not a fight, it's two people realizing they've wronged
One
each
sitting
other.
down,
And
one
it's
standing up,
tense
talking,
as well.
and it's one of the best scenes of the movie.
And it's all through composition. It's how directors like Bryan Singer returns in a really great way as an auteur and a person with command of the screen, you know, and that to me is like really important in action scenes where you could just have little characters flying around in CG and nothing matters if you have too much action. But when you have action that's really well choreographed and storyboard and the composition is set the way it should be, everything flows together and matters because the story matters. So it fills that void. That's why X-Men is such a great film.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.